Hello everyone, my name is Marion and I'm once again joined by my good friend Lynn.
Hello, hello.
And welcome back to another episode of Reading Reddit Stories, the show where, I don't know if you know this, but we read Reddit stories.
Oh me, oh my.
Oh me, oh my. So today is another episode of r/BestofRedditorUpdates, and once again we have two stories for you guys that come from said subreddit. The first story is it's very much a doozy. It's honestly one of the bigger doozies that we've had on this channel in a while, and that says a lot. And the second one is not a doozy really at all. It's just more like an, oh, okay, that's great. So yeah, so I made it a habit now, because in the last r/BestofRedditorUpdates video, we just read two bad stories, and it didn't turn out well because of the fact that afterwards we were just kind of depressed about it.
It broke us.
Yeah, because we kind of were just like, oh, wow, that was depressing. So that's why I tried to make sure that despite how upsetting this first story is, the second one will be better. And also, it's even worse because today, both me and Lynn are dealing with our own travesties because of this company called Lionsgate, and they decided we're going to make movies of our two favorite IPs, and they're going to be both really bad. But you know what? I kind of knew that The Crow was going to be really bad, so it doesn't matter.
It was the first movie Borderlands ever got.
I'm honestly, don't remake The Crow. I don't understand why they remade The Crow. It was already perfect. It's my favorite movie of all time. Fucking stupid. I know, I hope that there's no comments like, no, the new Crow is great. It's actually better than the original. It's like, shut the fuck up. You're only saying that because Bill Skarsgård's in it.
I'm just going to alert those people right now. Marion is coming to your location at alarming speed.
Oh, I'm running, dude. You're about before you fucking say, oh, it's more accurate to the comic. No, it fucking isn't. It is not even close to being accurate to the comic.
Oh,
and I read the entire comic series. I've read them all. Anyways, so besides that, let's get to the actual story, shall we? Anyways, let's do this. So, this first story, once again, comes from r/BestofRedditorUpdates. I feel like I need to stop doing that, you know? I feel like I should just say r/BestofRedditorUpdates and then just move on and then just say, you know what? Whatever, it doesn't matter. People haven't complained about it yet, so until they do, you know what? How about that? You guys tell me in the comments below if you want me to stop doing that. This episode's a mess. Anyways, so yeah, let's get to it.
I think we're a mess.
Yeah.
We're a mess, so we even out the quality.
You're right. You right. You right. That's a Markiplier thing.
Yeah, no, I know. I know.
All right. So this first story is called, Am I the Asshole for Not Wanting to Date a Critic of My Work?
Oh. It depends. What's going on here?
Trigger warning: bullying, past trauma, physical assault, stalking, harassment, gaslighting, bigotry, sexual harassment, and ableism.
Oh, yay, so we're dealing with some weirdo yandere. Okay.
I've read this story, actually, just a little while before this, and honestly, you're not too far off with that assumption.
I'm not surprised.
Yeah. So let's get to it. I am a published author. I mean, I am no James Patterson, Stephen King, etc., and really it's not the purpose of me writing, but I make fun money off of my book sales. In a given month, I'm in the green by $100 to $300 on a new book, depending on the book genre and season when it is first published. I don't even really do it for the money, like I said. I have a full-time job and do plenty of other gigs as a performer/artist on the side because it makes me happy. Artistic expression just makes my world brighter and helps me from falling into bad mental health cycles, as I am diagnosed with depression, anxiety, PTSD, or as I like to call it, the holy bullshittery, blessed be its name.
Well, do whatever makes you happy, man, as long as you're okay doing it.
I honestly want to call my shit the holy bullshittery, since I suffer from a lot of that shit too. I just go to my therapist and it's all like, so what are you dealing with? Holy bullshittery.
I just exist, man.
I started writing as a kid because I am dyslexic. Highly. Like, ever seen a person when you spell a weirdly spelt word and they look like they want to jump into oncoming traffic? I'm worse. Don't give me verbal directions, for fuck's sake. Text it. Point. Anything. The second my mental word is required to need to know too many words at any given time, I panic. I have tried every class, app, TikTok, life hack. It's not my strength. I am good at other things like coding or planning events, etc. I have other strengths. So I just do my best and keep swimming like a dyslexic Dory. Just
I
keep swimming,
see.
just keep swimming, just keep swimming. Anyways, that said, I was teased and bullied relentlessly all through my childhood a lot growing up and labeled the dunce, so the trauma lives. For an example, I was in my local paper, small town, for an event at school. I was like second grade at the oldest. I made a whole imaginary town out of recycled materials and had a story with it as my end of the year project. I worked on it for literal months, even figuring out how to make it foldable so it's easier to travel with it in my grandfather's minivan. My story had 10 chapters and was handwritten in my messy kid handwriting. I had a teacher, Mrs. Smith. That's her real name because fuck that woman and it's common enough. Damn. She said my project was low class, but I guess I shouldn't expect much from you, and she walked off. Her son, my classmate, stomped on my project to oblivion. He smashed my Play-Doh figurines of the people and pets, and as if that was not enough, he pointed and laughed at me when I cried. He then put copies of the article with my picture, but added a dunce and had, with a dunce hat, and laughing faces in the school lunchroom, homeroom, etc. I mean, the guy could cure cancer if he used that determination on it. I will give him that. If you're reading this, Tyler, fuck you in particular, and may your socks always just be a little damp.
So where does he live?
Yeah, where do you live, Tyler? Ironically, I've actually dealt with something like that similarly from a teacher when I believe one time I don't believe. One time in middle school, I remember some teachers, I still remember this teacher, I won't say her name, but one time she was like, see, Marion, she was like, no wonder you don't have any friends. I started crying and I had to leave the room.
Didn't I ask you the same question?
Yeah, I could probably...
Not the friend thing, but the location thing, because, like, yeah, you know.
The thing is, I probably could find out where she lives if I wanted to, but I'm not going to do that because that's weird. But I know she probably still works at that middle school. It's a bad middle school, don't go there.
I wouldn't recommend.
Yeah,
0 out of 10.
Don't go to that middle school. I'm not going to name the middle school, but don't go there. Just figure out, for those who can figure out what middle school I went to, don't do that. But just don't go there. Yeah, bad person. Then again, I ended up making fun of her years later to other people, being all like, yeah, well, she also was divorced from her husband, so obviously something else was wrong with her. I believe she was also... Huh?
Throwing everything down here, eh?
I mean, she was also transphobic to my friend, so... She was just a bad person. Anyways, back to the story. I was unlucky enough that when I moved, Tyler's mom happened to as well, so guess who had the privilege of that GEMS company for 3 grades? Tyler shoved me into lockers in my 4th grade. He called me dumb every day. In 5th grade, I was called dumb and fat. I was an underweight child. So fast forward, and I am now in my early 30s. Still dyslexic as hell. I live in a different state. I have a life and learned ways to deal with my weird brain and function. I moved on from my childhood trauma, therapy, etc., etc. There was a guy I liked, Brian, and Brian seemed to like me, so we decided to do non-date casual hangouts to see if we vibed enough to consider dating. His words, an idea. We hung out one-on-one for several instances, but once he was super late, so I had my laptop out. He saw me when he arrived and asked what I was doing, and I sheepishly responded that I was working on my next book. He inquired more, and I told him I published my first when I was 17, and I've published at least one every year since then, and told him of my Mrs. Smith and Tyler and more horror stories I won't get into, as this is now a novel in itself, lol. But that it spurred me to prove them wrong and beat this weird stereotype that neurodivergent folks are dumb, etc. He asked to read it, and I said no. I use a pen name on purpose, as those Amazon reviews can make you want to yeet your own soul from your body, so I keep it separate from my everyday life. Yeah. Well, turns out, if you know me and my nerdy joys, my pen name is easy to figure out. God damn it. From there, it's easy to find because I mention Amazon, and let's just say my bio makes it pretty clear. At our next meetup, he asked me if I was said author, and my shocked Pikachu face told him everything. This person is definitely in their 30s. I'm sorry. This is very millennial texting, I'm sorry. Told him everything, so we started reading the series. He came back the next time we met to laugh and say, I see why you didn't put your name on your works. Don't quit your day job, your writing sucks. And he placed a copy of one of my books down on the bar. I couldn't help but drop my shoulders. He was laughing and talking, not seeing my expression, and kept saying how he wasted hours of his life, and for fuck's sake, someone take my laptop, as it might be a lethal weapon meant to kill us all with boredom. Turns out he's not into mysteries or fantasy. I said that maybe it's just not his genre, and he said it wasn't, but in our word, 3rd grader could have done better. That's nice.
I want to punch this man.
Oh, you're going to want to do so many more things to him.
Boy. Oh, That's great to know.
Yeah. And it's a good thing I am good at my job. It was then I could see that he actually took my expression and he backtracked. I mean, you clearly don't do it for money, so it's whatever, right? And said I have other strengths, but he did not believe me at all that I make money off of this. He asserted surely I buy my good reviews and probably bulk buy my own books to improve sales. I don't do any of that. I just smiled it away and said, well, I can't please everyone, but I did make $250 this month from the sales of my last book alone, so some people must like it, and laughed it off. But I knew then and there I didn't want to pursue him anymore. When he texted to see if I planned our next hangout, I was honest and texted back that I wasn't interested and said that while I can take a note or any criticism, the way he went about it was hurtful, and I don't want to be with someone who treats me that way for a hobby. That we are different people, but I would like to remain friends, as otherwise we get along well, but nothing more. He went off on me saying I picked the wrong time to lash out as he was having a bad day. Well, you made her day worse, so fuck you. And now I've made it worse, and that I am so rude and petty to be mad at honest criticism. That's not honest criticism. You're just being a bitch.
Yeah, no. There's criticizing someone and being polite about it, and then there's being a full-on asshole.
Here's the thing. I want to say this. I want to say this so badly. This is something that I felt for a long time. Any person who labels themselves as brutally honest is not that. They're just a piece of shit. Because brutal honesty is an oxymoron, because there's no such thing as being brutally honest. You're just being a piece of shit at that point. That's what it is. Like, it's like when, if you ask someone, hey, does this dress look good on me? You can be honest and be like, you can either lie and say, yeah, it looks good, or be honest and say, no, I'm sorry, it doesn't look very good on you. And then there's the quote-unquote brutally honest people being like, yeah, your rolls sag right here. And it's like, now you're just being a piece of shit and you're just pointing out people's insecurities. Like, it's any person who labels themselves as brutally honest, I'm always just like, I see. So you're just trying to get away with being a little bitch.
Yeah, and if anything, that's another narcissistic role people play out just so they get more control out of a situation.
Yeah, like, God. Like, I remember one time there was this person who labeled themselves as brutally honest that I followed, and they, like, made this post being all like, no matter if you're this religion or this, and then it just randomly said, like, agoraphobic, say happy holidays is the right thing to do, and I was just like, what's the point of agoraphobia being here? It's like, that's not a belief or anything. That's just like that's a disability / that's a mental health issue, you know? And they were just like, and I was just like, no, it doesn't make any fucking sense. And then they deleted the post, and then they stopped posting for a few weeks. So yeah, anyways, it's just something that's always irked me. I've always despised any person that calls themselves brutally honest, because it just means they're just being a piece of shit, and then they're just saying that to get away with it.
Yeah, pretty much.
Anyways, he said that if I am so sensitive over honest opinions, good luck finding anyone who would want my dumb ass, since looks are all I have with makeup and work and nothing between the ears. I feel like I keep mentioning Shane Top, but I feel like Shane Top when he ate that pepper and like he was just dying on the inside. But he's just like, guys, I need to tell you, it's really bad. It's really bad.
Guys, I want to stress that it gets worse.
Oh my god!
It's really bad.
You know, I don't know what's sadder, this guy's personality or the fact that it sounds like this is a script that he plays out for multiple people.
Probably. I blocked him, but we have a mutual friend group, and almost all of them have been asking me what's going on and that I broke his heart. I was thinking, what? How? That he said he's been depressed and asking about me, and figured out I blocked him on everything and wants to give me a birthday gift. Don't accept that birthday gift. My birthday party passed last week, and I didn't invite him. My friends are saying that we are adults and that this is immature. I mean, I am not a saint, and I have toxic traits. Yeah, no, this is bullshit.
You know what I would have done? You know, if I happened to meet someone particular and I had a little bit of a relationship with them and then had to break it off because of something dumb like this, I would send you guys whatever fucking shit went down immediately so we knew what was going on.
Yes.
Instead of them just being like, oh yeah, you know, Lynn, she's a fucking bitch.
Yeah, no, but then you send the screenshots and
for no reason. Really? Receipts.
Yeah, receipts, kids. Always keep your hands on receipts. I mean, I am not a saint and I have toxic traits too, but I don't want to be with someone who criticizes me and my work that way and treats me like I'm a bantha poodoo. I have no idea what that means. Am I crazy? Am I the asshole? No. No, you're not. No, this guy's a bitch.
No, there's being fucking. We all have our toxic traits, but some are louder than others, and this just so happens his are definitely fucking louder than yours.
There are two things going on here. Number one, first of all, he's doing the brutal honesty thing, which is stupid. Even he didn't say that he's brutally honest, but I have a feeling he's that type of guy who would say that.
It would be it's an implied thing at that point.
Yes, but number two, he didn't even critique by any means. He didn't point out oh, I feel like you could have done this. He just insulted them. That's That's like me sending my artwork to you, being like, "Hey, can you and asking for critiques," and you just go, "This looks like shit," and it's "Oh, okay." That's not a critique. That's not at all a critique. That's just being a. That's just.
It's I don't know if this is going to be Kyle or something, but those there's something going on with two VTubers a while back where there's send their characters and we'll critique them, and this one person sent them their VTuber model.
I've seen this.
Yes, and they just fucking hammered it, saying that it looked awful, the colors are tacky, and they didn't do anything along the lines of, oh, well, maybe you want to switch the color out for more of a pastel rather than a bright neon, or maybe you want to change the pose a little bit, or maybe thicken this part up, then make that part a bit thinner. None of that. They just fucking trashed the character and made that person feel awful.
That's not critique.
They said... No, that's not critique. What that is fucking trashing a character and saying, oh, we look better than you.
Yeah, and it's ironically, we also were critiquing, I was critiquing the Crow movie from earlier or whatever, but there's a big difference between critiquing someone's work to their face who is not being paid really much money out of this, and then a gigantic studio that can give less of a shit about what I have to say, in a way, if you know what I mean. It's much different to a person who's has a passion project that's going, that they're the only person behind it, and then getting told straight to their face this sucks.
Yeah. And again, if you're going to critique something, do research on it. It's going to be unsolicited critiquing. Do research on it and see if it's worth even doing, because many people have heard your critiques before. If it's, oh, maybe make the colors a bit more, maybe you want to add a bit more color to it instead of sticking with darker tones. Mm-hmm. No, because if they look through their stuff, see what other people have said, and you'll undoubtedly find, if this project has been going on for years, that they've heard it all before and they're not doing it because that's not what they want.
Yes, there's a big difference between critiquing a person who has 20 followers and saying, this sucks because this, and this, and then, sending James O'Barr, the creator of The Crow, a bunch of, bullshit to him. One person has 20 followers and is just doing this for fun, and now is probably discouraged because someone was being mean to them on the internet. And the other guy has been already paid, tons of money and is living off of this shit, and has been doing this for years, and he's like, what? Who cares?
You don't have to be mean when you critique something. You can simply point out, hey, I was just wondering, do you mean for this to be so dark, or for your art to be a little bit blurry, or maybe for the style to look a little bit like this?
Yeah.
Don't go out there and be, oh, this looks awful because it's too dark. Oh, I can't see that, therefore I don't like it, no one else should.
It's different to me than, going out and saying, you fucking suck to, this small creator that's, literally just doing this for fun, It's essentially what he was doing.
Well, and small creators, they have to be more careful with what they say, because even though they're not a big creator and they're not well known, people can still go back if they hit that milestone and find out things that they've said that may not be that appealing versus then and now.
Yeah. Well, anyways, there is an update. So
let me guess, it's not that good?
Oh, it's gonna get worse. So this one's from May 5th of 2024. I forgot to point out that the original post was posted on March 30th of 2024. So this is this year, by the way. So let's get to it. Hi. So for anyone who cares to know, Brian told all of her friends that I rubbed my achievements in his face, called him an idiot. I never said any of that. He told them also about my post, so he found it somehow and started telling everyone that I'm trying to slander him as girls can ruin a man's reputation by snapping her fingers, and suggested my next move would be saying that he assaulted me.
Oh, that motherfucker.
I'm just imagining him as
openly admitting that he's going to try to hurt her.
He's trying. She's like thinking that she was. Yeah, he's basically trying to hurt her because he's trying to suggest that like her next move is going to be that like she's going to lie and say that
He literally just said it.
Yes.
If someone like this goes ahead and tries to slander your name, and then their next thing is, oh well, she's probably going to say that I do a bunch of horrible things to her in private, then yes, that's what they're planning on doing.
Yeah. What's worse is that, like, when I hear the name Brian, I'm just thinking of Brian from Family Guy, and, like, it just makes this so much worse, because I fucking hate Brian from Family Guy so much.
Who's that again?
It's the dog. You know, the dog who's all like, you see, this is the reason why... I remember, like, someone posted on Twitter.
Oh, God,
Just a quick side note, I remember someone posted on Twitter, like, this post, I was like, why do we have, like, atheist churches? Why do we have this, and this? And someone just quote tweeted it with just a picture of Brian, and I was like, yeah, that's something Brian would say.
I think what's worse is that I knew this one really toxic person that had his voice.
Oh, no, you're talking about Stewie.
Like,
Stewie's the baby that goes like,
no, it was like a mixture of the two.
Brian.
Yeah, it was a mixture of the two. But yeah, no, I didn't like Family Guy as is then. I hate it now because of that.
What upsets me most is that Family Guy, like, everybody said the same thing. The original seasons were actually really good, but now it's just slop. Yeah. Anyways.
I wouldn't know, man. Sorry.
Yeah. The first, like that first episode, I remember loving so much as a kid. Anyways. Some of our friends came at me hard saying I was bullying him and trying to ruin his reputation, and that all he did was ask a girl out he liked for drinks, and that I need to apologize and just suck it up and go to drinks with him. Who are these people? They since have either...
Those are not your friends.
Yeah. No. They since have either outright not invited me out with the group or disinvited me to events, and it was really hard to accept. I was really confused because he was the one who made fun of me, and I wrestled with myself going over every talk again and again, wondering if I inadvertently said or did something to upset him. You didn't do anything. It wasn't until I checked our text and message history that it occurred to me to send the screenshots, as he called me a moron, and then when I rejected him, he called me fat, desperate, and stupid. And there were so many more messages after he found my book series. So I took screenshots and sent it to my friends, and they were shocked. Apparently, according to Brian, my outwardly sweet demeanor hides my judgmental and cruel side, and I strung him along and called him a loser when I told him I wasn't interested in dating him. I even pettily went back before all of this and screenshot some of the rude or mean texts he made. And I screenshot my actual rejection text and his response and sent that along as well. Now the tides have shifted and most of our friends think that he was the asshole, and two of our friends are saying that I am sending my choice of screenshots to make him out to be a villain, and that they have seen the real screenshots of me bullying him. I asked them to produce such screenshots, but they refused and said that I wouldn't be worried about them if I was innocent as some sort of gotcha.
Nah, you know what? Have them come to... Nah, you know what? Have them come to your house and give them their fucking phone.
Yeah.
Let them see it for themselves.
I don't know if that's a good idea, though, because I'll probably just try to delete them.
Hold the fucking phone, then.
Yeah. I feel really bad as I want to stay friendly, but I can never look at him with any semblance of respect anymore. I am glad it's cleared up with my friends, sans the two holdouts, but they are now also on the outs with the groups. So things are looking back to normal. I have my first publishing party for my next book, and everyone is invited but them. Weird way for it all to end, but oh well.
You know, from the looks of it, you got rid of the negative people in the group, so... Like, it sucks that the majority of them still believe him over you, but, like, you got rid of the negative ones, I guess.
Yeah. Unfortunate news for you, Lynn. It gets even worse.
Oh, for fuck's sake.
Yeah. Update number 2 from June 22nd of 2024. So, this has taken a turn for the unnecessarily dramatic. I don't know how to update correctly as mentioned in my last post, but I did learn to link them thanks to the kind Reddit folks, so here's my last post. Anyways, I had opted to ignore Brian and any attempts he made to get a rise out of me. He apologized to the group, but then said he was forced to or be ostracized. Fuck off. He said I was using social capital to go after him, and has since been trying to get any direct cruel words from me, which I have not provided him. After a month, I can list my top 5 favorites. 1. Going to places I also frequent and sitting nearby me no matter how much available seating there is elsewhere, or me moving my usual spot leagues away, and he will loudly have phone calls talking about the bitch who broke his heart because women are so sensitive.
I hate this guy so much.
Number 2, getting an alt account on nearly all social media to find me and follow my accounts, which are public, as a workaround my blocking him to comment reviews on any of my art, books, acting, modeling, doesn't matter. He will comment a reason I suck. And then simply make a new account when I block the last one and delete his comments.
This is how you fucking ruin an artist.
Yeah. Number 3, anytime the group chat pops off with invites to events and I say I am going, he will reply to that with, my girlfriend is the kindest person, but I don't think she'd like me hanging out with you, etc. And if I don't reply to invites until he does, he will say, it's a good thing I'm not coming because of his girlfriend, or it's a good thing I'm not coming because of his girlfriend, or that he can't come because if I come, his girlfriend will be upset I'm hanging with an ex. We never dated. And when any of us ask who his girlfriend is, he says that she's shy and he will introduce her eventually. He doesn't have a girlfriend. He's too pathetic. Number 4. I am speaking at a conference and got excited and shared it in the friend group and everyone congratulated me, but he said that was okay but not newsworthy, and then looked up the conference and saw that I have a relative also presenting and suggested that's how I got the spot and not on my own merit. 5. Revealing this Reddit name to the friend group and linking my first post as proof I bully him despite not speaking to him, not naming him, and leaving out most if not all identifying info about him. He's insisting I edited out the worst parts and I can't prove I didn't, so whatever. So all of that...
If they believe it, that's fucked on them.
Yeah, so all of that has been happening, and yes, I unblocked his phone number only because it was screwing up with what I was seeing in the group chat, and I got lazy and didn't figure it out. Plus, he doesn't text me directly anymore anyways. Well, about a week ago, I went up to house sit for my parents a small drive away from my own house, and was due to stay for about a week. I only told the few friends in the group that didn't side with Brian the first round of BS. I used this time to go to work and then spend my non-working hours on my book, and I came up with a new pen name. I decided to revamp this whole fictional universe I created and was excited after I designed the cover for my next book. I shared it with...
Good.
Yeah. Yes, sorry.
Sorry.
No, because I feel like I cut you off.
No, you're good.
I shared it all with the group but him and his 2 flying monkeys, but he found out about it anyways, flipping out in the group chat saying that I was trying to show off again and that I was trying to steal the spotlight, or I was trying to steal his spotlight, as we all know damn well he is publishing his first book on Amazon this summer, and me publishing mine at the same time with my fancy cover, etc. was just another form of bullying. He akin it to if I wore white at his wedding.
First off,
Why is
you know
he
he's... Well, it's probably going to be something about this lonely boy who traveled with a lovely woman who was almost a goddess. So he chose some bad choice words and she freaked out and got over dramatic, you know?
Future Marion put foreshadowing on this part. I have to be honest here, I had enough. I put up with this behavior for months now, so I flat out said he never mentioned a book to me and shared a screenshot of him calling my writing profession the R word. But unlike sharing the first screenshot, I didn't blank out the word. What a difference a word can make. Apparently the friend group thought the words I blanked out were milder and not slurs, and we as a friend group are quite diverse on every spectrum, save maybe politics. So they dogged on him for using a slur, and he said that he's autistic and he can use that word just like how I am black and can say the N-word, except he typed the full word. Nice. I said, right, so I am done with this, and left the chat. I didn't argue or do anything other than leave the chat. I was working at the time, and I put the phone down, like, that's enough humaning for today, and went about my business. This man rage texted me for hours until I got off work, saw his messages, and blocked him. I then see ads on my Facebook and Instagram about his book. He was paying for ads on social media. His name is on the cover, and he has comments underneath calling the book incredible, a masterpiece, undiluted artistry, etc. And his book isn't even out yet. He said his publishing date was August. I remember because my next book is set to come out in July, and he had used that as another form of proof that I was upping him, like setting my wedding date before his siblings to show them up. A few nights ago, he saw me at a spot I frequent for karaoke, and I admittedly had been doing some shots, so I was pretty transparent in my disappointment that he was there when he approached me. When he approached me calling my name, he went in to hug me, and I backed up. Bitch, what the fuck? He went in to hug me, and I backed up and He went in to hug me, and I backed up and coldly but politely said hi. He sensed my attitude and threw up his hands, laughing, saying, "Oh, are you in another mood?" I opted to ignore him and moved seats closer to the singers and some friends. A few fellow regulars told him to leave me alone, and he was spinning a tale that we slept together and I led him on, and now I am ignoring him and acting like I hate him, all because he is writing a book. Okay, here's the thing. Even without context, that sounds insane.
This guy's a fucking bitch.
He said I inspired him to write, and I was angry his book was better and cited the reviews he got on social media. Well, that was enough for some to call him a creep, and then he went off about it, shouting and the like. He started to call for me to come the fuck over here and tell them the truth, and then I was trying to ruin his reputation, and the time we slept together never happened. Will eventually be me lying about being our something. We'll call it that. If you know what the word I'm saying, assaulted, let's just call it that. Turns out, if you start shouting that sort of thing in a public space while there is karaoke to a person many in the room know personally, you get kicked out. It's been beautifully quiet since. I told the friend group what happened, and he is out of the group chat. How the fuck was he still in the group chat after all this time, honestly?
I would just drop these friends. They are not worth it.
These friends are not worth it if they're going to let this shit keep continuing to happen. Some still speak to him, the two holdouts from before, but they have not said boo to me directly, so I guess this makes this my final update. Not very exciting, but a bucket of crazy, and I had to share. My neighbors know because of one of the regulars at the bar lives a walking distance from me, and he told everyone at the community pool, etc. I have such kind folks I never spoke to, but they have seen me walking my dog, saying that they are being watchful of my home and to call if I need anything. I didn't know people could be like this because he never was like this before. He was always sweet to everyone in the group, and we even agreed on damn near everything. He would be complimenting me, telling me how smart and pretty I am, and would even joke, "I'm not hitting on you," and laugh. To be honest, I'm excited for August. I will be the first to buy his book. He's using his real name and has been advertising about it, so hey.
You know, if he has any material that may so much as seem like it's from your... And the fact that he has seen your book and then wrote his own, you could sue him for that.
Well, I mean, there is an update.
Oh, God, do I even want to hear it?
We have to. It's our job.
Yay.
So,
I'm just gonna continue working.
So this post is from August 16th of 2024, so only just about 7 days ago, so a week.
Yay! Woohoo!
I mean, before we even get to this, the fact that he did all that in the bar is just absolutely insanity.
No, not really seeing the type of person that he is, or at least hearing about the type of person he is.
I mean, it's not insane in the fact that we know what type of person he is, but it's insanity nonetheless, you know, like of seeing it from an outside perspective.
I guess so.
Any person who does shit like that, I'm just like, fuck off, man.
They need to get a grip on themselves and stop being such a petty fucking person. Just because a girl says no doesn't mean you need to keep pussing. Yeah. No means no, and you need to fucking respect that.
It's not even the fact that he doesn't know what no means. It's the fact that he now has taken this, and he's so fucking upset from it, that now he's just doing everything he can to try to fucking, like... No, I don't even know what his end goal is. What is his end goal?
No. His end goal is to ruin her because C, quote, couldn't take some criticism, when in reality, C said no to him because he knows he fucked up, and he's too much of a fucking stubborn ass to realize that he messed up.
Yes, and...
This is a common fucking thing that happens with petty people when they get rejected and they know they did something wrong, or they're too stubborn to admit they did something wrong.
Yes. Like, and what's sadder to me is that this person's in, like, she's in her 30s, which means this guy is also in his 30s. If I was hearing, like, a 16-year-old doing this, I'd be like, okay, like, I would be like, okay, you're 16 years old. You need to grow up a bit, man. You know, I'd be like,
just roll your eyes at the situation. This is a fully grown man child.
Yes, this man's in his 30s. It's like, okay, buddy, you know what? No, you need to stop. Like, honestly...
He's a fully grown man. He knows what's coming out of his mouth right now. And he knows he's acting like a child, but he can't stop because he's not getting his way.
Yeah. Like, if a 16-year-old did all of this, I'd still be like, okay, you need to stop. And you need to, like, I would immediately, like, tell his parents. I'd be like, this is what your kid's doing. Because it's like, and this isn't okay. But at least if he was a young kid... at least there is still a bit of time to be all like to make him understand what he's doing wrong. This is a 30-year-old man. There is no going back.
Yeah, he's probably been babied all his life, and this is the first, probably not the first, but one of the first women to fucking be like, yeah, I don't like you.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next update. I believe this is the final update, by the way. Yes, it is.
It's not going to be any better than the others, is it?
No.
Yeah.
All right. Sorry I forgot to update this after flip-flopping about it since I said that my last update was the final, and I mostly read posts and I'm not used to writing them. A commenter reminded me about this, so here's the update since last month, because I figured that if you don't care, you don't need to read it, but if you do, here it is. For reference, my last post is about this guy I used to like that I think I named Brian, basically negging me, I hope that I used that term correctly, specifically about the books that I write and I've written since I was 17, and I'm pretty much going nuclear when I told him that due to this, I don't want to date him. If you care to read it, it's here. I'll put the link in the description for this entire story. So Brian's promised book came out on the 1st. The cover art looks AI generated, and I know he's really into a site/program called Midjourney that he makes memes with this month on Amazon. That's great. His page promises that it's the start of a series. Even before it came out, it had reviews raving about it being a masterpiece, so okay, I went and bought myself a copy.
So, not only is he a sore loser and a alpha male, he is
an AI loser.
An AI bro.
He's an AI fucking loser, a loser that uses AI. Any person who uses AI for their work is a fucking loser, and I don't want to hear it. Anyways, it's a fantasy story, about 30-ish chapters. I don't want to say too many details that could identify him or myself, even though I don't overly believe too many others read it, but I suppose I can share that it's smutty, but like in a way a teenage boy would want it to be, if that makes sense.
I see.
Yeah, I see. I mean, it makes sense from
He's one of those.
It makes sense from his past behavior that he clearly hasn't grown up from the past at the age of like 15 or 16 years old, so, I actually read the whole thing. There's an elf character by my real first name that the main character sleeps with, and she is described as remarkably similar to my appearance, including my non-natural colored hair. She ends up being outed as a narcissistic traitor and is killed like Game of Thrones style dead. Awesome. I talked to some friends that know the both of us about it, and even brought the book, and we spent a good chunk of the time reading pieces of it over drinks, and my friends agree it's a rage write. They even pointed out other characters named and given the vague appearances of other people Brian knows or has talked about, and the ones we know he doesn't like, such as our friend group that cut ties with him. All have something awful done to them, and characters with the name of his two friends that sided with him. Still waiting on those screenshots and proof I bullied this man, guys. Became rulers in his fictional land and were portrayed as heroic sidekicks to the main character that has his real name and of course is the hero of the story. It had several plot holes, and I'm not trying to be mean, but it didn't have an editor and it showed. No, be mean. This guy deserves it. Like I said, if a person deserves it, fuck them. Anyways.
I love the fact that you guys had to get drunk in order to read this thing. That shows how bad this is.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense.
You're in for a long one when you have to get snockered just to be able to read it.
Snockered?
Yes.
That's a fun word. I'm gonna use that. No.
Yeah.
It's like putting on it's like watching Batman and Robin with your friends. It's like, it's a bad movie, but it's like with some friends, it'll probably be pretty fun.
Yeah.
I promise I am not trying to be cruel about this because the dude did write a book. He's still a piece of shit, so I don't give a fuck. Be mean to him.
Especially if it's AI. It's not...
Yeah, if it's AI, you're a loser.
Lazy if it's AI. The whole point of art is that you have a creative piece of you that wants to work on things from scratch. It doesn't matter if it's inspired by something. It's still worked by scratch. You're still building it up by yourself. You're not typing some words into a machine that's taken from other artists, other writers, other musicians, and creating something that, let's be honest here, is not unique.
Yeah.
Art from a human is unique because you get to see those dents, those tiny flaws that actually bring the art together.
I know this guy who's a teacher, and he put it best when he said, he told me that he told his students that if you use AI to write your essay, you're gonna get an F. But ChatGPT is going to get an A depending on how I grade it. I'll grade ChatGPT, but I'm not going to grade you because it's not your essay. It's ChatGPT's at that point, and everyone else who wrote other essays that it stole from.
Mm-hmm.
Oy. I promise
Like the one thing I'm going to give AI is the funny ass shit when you have those ChatGPT characters that you can call now, and when you put one in front of the other, and the robot just fucking sputters out.
Well, yeah, because it's essentially a philosophical zombie. It has there's nothing behind it. It's the reason why like any scientist or any philosopher agrees that like AI is never going to become conscious because it literally can't. And that's what's crazy about it. And that's okay, now I'm just gonna if I keep conversating, I'm gonna get philosophical. But anyways, AI is just proof that there's something pretty unique about both humans and just animals in general. The fact that we all have a sense of consciousness, if you will, and the fact that
absolutely. But I stick by what I said. It's hilarious to hear the robot just give out.
Oh yeah, it's great.
And for it to try to comprehend, wait, who am I talking to? What the hell?
Yeah. It's always funny when you type something and it just can't figure out what's going on, so it's just and it's just I see. It just immediately falls in on itself, and it's great. And I know from personal experience that in of that of itself is a hell of a feat. It's hard and at times infuriating, and it takes a lot of dedication and time. I'm not trying to belittle his efforts at all, fair play to that, but it's quite clear it was rushed. The chapters vary in length, and with some being super weirdly short and choppy, and others being super long and wordy. If you write a book, have it edited. Trust me on this. I am a wordy person too, if you haven't noticed, Lamau. Plus my brain has a hard time with typos and the like. You don't want something out there that is not read over at least once, at the very least by someone you know, to check for these issues. Brian saw me about a week ago out and about, and he beelined to me. I mean, he was zeroed in on me.
Oh, God.
I knew what was happening before he even opened his mouth.
He's running. If he's Naruto style running at you carry some spray, you could technically get away with it.
Yes. He needed to talk about his book. He was so nice to me. It was actually uncomfortably nice, but I can't explain the look in his eyes. He hates me. He launched into the whole story that he wrote the book to, and it was so easy and it's selling really well, probably better than mine. His exact wording, because it was such an obvious jab I couldn't forget, and was yeah, I was so surprised. I think I have doubled your numbers or something. Maybe it's how I marketed it or something. Maybe you should try. And he went on to give me tips that I was so clearly needed.
Maybe it also could be the fact that he has some 1,000 other email accounts that he linked different personalities to and went to, so many different accounts,
I bet
you. Get what I'm saying?
Ironically, I think he's doing the very thing that he said that she probably does, which is buying the books in bulk. Then it was time for him to hand me a copy to give it a read. I told him, oh, I have a copy. I bought it as soon as I could. He looked shocked at that, and I said, of course, I wanted to support other authors. And he was like, you did, huh? Where is it? And I said, I let a friend borrow it, and he handed me a copy anyway, alluding to the fact that he figured I was lying or being sarcastic. I had previously taken a picture to send it to a friend via text, so I showed him the photo on my phone of his book on my coffee table, and he sort of glossed over that with, well, now you have an extra so your friend can keep the other one. I thanked him and turned to move on with my day, but he sort of moved in my path and asked, fuck off, moved in my path and asked me if I had read it and what I had thought of it. I shrugged, and he had this grin and muttered loudly, yeah, I thought you'd act that way, but I just kept moving. A mutual friend sent a screenshot of his Facebook post that he posted that evening of how jealous people are, so funny and pathetic that his book has record sales. The same friend then commented on the post asking for a pic of the dashboards that would show said sales that he commented a photo on. The same friend then commented on the post asking for a pic of the dashboard that he would show said sales, and he commented a photo I sent in our old group chat of my sales from several months ago when I got a bump in sales. So my friend took the time to scroll back in the chat, screenshotted that part showing it was mine, and commented under that, which caused a lot of drama in the comments. People went from congratulations to what the fuck real quick. Brian deleted the entire post and I blocked my friend. Since then, yeah.
That's an actual friend there who's willing to go through months or years, chats and conversations to get this shit.
Yeah. Since then, he's been avoiding me publicly, but keep but keeping up his fake social media profiles and insulting me every chance he can get. He talks to himself as alternate accounts, gossiping about how I am fake, rude, a bully, jealous, and the like. If I block one, another pops up, and a comment will appear from another account outing me as someone who blocks anyone I don't agree with for calling me out. I stopped blocking mostly because in our new friend group chat, we post screenshots of the comments and messages, and it's become sort of a game to spot his accounts. So, Brian, because I know you're reading this, I will be keeping this account, and I have found a writer subs here, and I will be joining. You're welcome to follow this account, and good luck on your sequel. I will be the first to buy it. P.S. Thanks for the boost on social media as well. It's helped make my accounts more visible. I appreciate the free marketing.
That's good.
Yeah.
I'm so tempted to find her book
And buy it.
and her series. Yeah.
I would buy it.
Or
too.
at least some good, at least leave some good comments or like some stars. That's how you rate stuff on Amazon, right?
Yeah. So before we actually even get to like critiquing this entire thing, I just wanted to say, Lynn, do you know who Chris Chan is?
The name's familiar, but I don't know.
So don't look it up. Don't look it up.
Duly noted.
But Chris Chan, I had actually been reading about them earlier this week for some odd reason. I don't know why, but it's a whole smorgasbord of things that you don't need to know about. Huh?
Curiosity.
Yeah, just curiosity, I guess. Don't read into it. Any person who's never learned anything about them, just don't look into it. With that being said, something that they used to do was that, I don't know if they still do it, maybe they probably do, is that they would actually like go in and in their comics, like take real life people in real life situations and put them in their comics and turn these people into villains and actually have them killed. Which is why it reminds me of this guy, since that's exactly what essentially this guy was doing. And ironically, some of the behaviors that he's doing reminds me of Chris Chan as well, except obviously Chris Chan is much worse. But yeah, any person who doesn't know anything about Chris Chan, do not look into them. Trust me, just don't do it. It's not a fun time.
Okay. So that reminds me of something else, but in a good sense. Like, I do think you can put people, like, make characters that remind you of people you know IRL. Because there's this one author, I loved her Janet Vanabitz series. Well, I think this is still going. I don't know her name particularly, but the name is of the Janet Vanabitz. Is that her name? I don't remember. It's been a long time. It's an old series of books I have been re-listening to. And the whole plot is you know I like bounty hunter, murder mystery type of stories, right?
Yes.
So the whole plot is like that, but she's used people from her family to make the main cast. So you have like the bounty hunter, the cousin who runs the bail bonds agency, this fun woman, this beautiful fun big woman who always like, I'm going to be your backup and stuff. And it's very funny. The whole series is so Apple, and the it's not much of a mystery for that one, but it's fun, and the way she makes her characters is how would you say? The way she builds the characters is very good. The characters are still their own person, but you can see the family members she's taken personalities from and put into these characters.
Yeah.
One of my favorites is the bounty hunter's grandmother. Her name is Grandma Mazur. She very old lady with a young ass spirit. Usually has like some sort of gun in her purse that her mother doesn't know about because she lives in the same house. She sneaks over and goes on these missions with her, and they get into a bunch of trouble.
Yeah.
But that's a good way of putting people you know into a book. Not this fucking bullshit over here.
The difference is with her book, she's doing it because it's fun, and it's like, look, I made my family members into these people. This guy's doing it to try to get some weird revenge fantasy out there.
Yeah, and that's a very psychotic thing to do, if you ask me. Like, it's one thing to make a book, put people in it, and maybe some people you don't like that end up just disappearing later on in the book. You don't say what happens to them, they're just gone.
Yeah.
This is something else. This is not healthy.
No, and in all honesty, to me, I feel like I would honestly, like, at this point, I would probably get a restraining order on this guy, because if this guy is probably, I don't trust this guy whatsoever, because if he's willing to do this type of,
her.
yes.
I don't care how you see it. He's threatened her
Yes.
with and with other assault thing. You know what I mean.
I mean, yes, like, he literally wrote a book where she gets murdered, so, like,
yes.
it's
what did she say it was like?
a Game of Thrones style.
Games for. I don't know if you know that, but I've seen a little bit of it.
I've seen some of the kills.
The story. To some people, the story is great and all. I just can't get over the stuff that happens in that book.
Mm-hmm.
And that's coming from someone who deals with enough drama on the daily in their actual life, so I prefer to stay away from dramatic things.
Yeah.
But yet here we are doing this.
Content.
Way to go, Lynn.
Content.
And you know what else this reminds me of?
I
knew this one person once, thought they were my friend. They turned out to be a really... They wore one hell of a mask.
Mm-hmm.
And I was very dumb at the time. And we had a bad falling out, and they immediately turned around and started doing stuff like this on a much lesser scale.
I just remembered, because you showed me.
Yes, I've sent you the screenshots.
Yes, I just remembered that. Holy shit, you've had something like this happen to you.
Yes, it's so ridiculous when people... I get venting in your art is something that's normal. That's what most art is made out of, is you venting your emotions.
I mean...
But keep people out of it. Keep their real names, their real faces out of it.
And, like, that's a very true statement, too, because, like, The Crow, ironically, what we were talking about earlier, or I guess I was talking about earlier, The Crow, the story itself was inspired by the fact that James O'Barr had unfortunately lost his fiancée at the age of 18 years old. And the comic was made as him coping, like, with the loss, if you will, you know?
Yes.
It all comes from something real.
Yeah. And here's the thing. Most of my characters have a little, like, I remember before I revamped them, Darklock, I will send you a picture or put it up. She was literally just a persona of me when I was a kid going through some awful things that, quite frankly, no kid deserves to go through.
Yeah.
And as I grew older, I revamped her character because I want her to have her own story and have her own life that got better. Because mine got a little better.
Yeah.
Same with my own personal persona now. She lives a fantasy life. She's a badass witch that has less joint problems than I do. But in general, everything we make has a little piece of ourselves in it. That's what makes it art.
Yeah.
And it's okay to vent that feeling. But it's not okay
to use people's real names. To draw
pictures of your actual ex-friend. To put stories with your friend's name and their exact description. It's okay if you do that for yourself because you're giving yourself consent.
Yeah.
It's not okay if you narrate that for other people.
Yes. It's... Honestly, like, I don't know if OP is watching. We do this every once in a while, but, like, if OP is watching, please, for the love of God, get, like, a restraining order on this guy, because I don't think it's safe to have this guy around. And also, if this guy is watching, because clearly he knows her Reddit account, so maybe he found this story that we're reading. Fuck you, Brian.
You need
You're
to
a
get
piece of
help,
shit.
and you need to
I hope you
stop
fucking
it.
fall and break your goddamn leg, you piece of shit. That's what I hope happens. Fuck you.
I'm not going to say I don't agree with that. I'm not going to say I do agree with that. But you know what? You need to get some fucking help.
You need help. You
and
genuinely
you need to leave
help.
this poor woman alone.
You need to stop. You have problems. Fucking hell. If I get a comment from some guy being like, maybe that guy is... I'm just going to be like, Brian, go away.
Just delete the comment.
I'm not even that. I don't even think I would delete the comment. I would just leave it up there just so that way people can find him and be like, shut the fuck up, Brian.
You know what's better? You could just leave an arrow underneath the comment pointing up to it.
And it just says Brian. All right. So we're now an hour into this, but like we can't leave off of this note. So I think I think we'll read this one, but I promise you it's not going to be terrible.
Fucking better not.
It's not going to be
I don't
terrible.
think I can handle another Brian situation.
It's not going to be a Brian situation. Trust me. Even from what little I've read, it's not going to be that way. And even all the comments are just like, cool. Okay.
In a way, I'm kind of happy I got to tell that thing.
Yes.
God, do you think she's actually gonna see this?
If she does, oh, dude, holy shit, I hope she's all right. All right.
No, I'm talking about my.
I don't give a fuck.
Brian.
If she sees this and tries to say shit to me, I'm not gonna give a single shit. Okay, so that last story was a doozy, and obviously this is a much longer episode than most of our other episodes, but I do want to end on a good note. So this is another episode from another episode. This is another post from r/BestofRedditorUpdates, and from what I've seen, it does end nicely. So yeah.
Yay.
So first of all, this is a really long title. So yeah, let's get to it.
Spit it out.
I, 27-year-old male, met one of my closest friends, 28-year-old female, about 2 years ago at the library, and I am completely in love with her. The only issue is I'm afraid that she's going to think I'm shallow when I ask her out because she used to be chubby. How do I tell her how I feel without offending her?
Aw.
Like, you could kind of see, like, hey, what does that mean? But, like, I think we'll see right now. So let's get to it.
I guess coming from my standpoint, I understand that fear, especially overthinking so much. Like, yeah.
All right, so let's get to it. This is from August 8th of 2024, this first post is. That's a bad Yoda impression, I'm sorry. I could do better. August 8th, the first post is. All right, there we go.
Tired of this. I am. You remember that?
Yes. All right. Throw her away as she is an active Redditor, and I really don't want her to find out about this, but I could use some outside advice. I realize this is super long, TLDR at the bottom. By the way, this is from r/relationship advice, the original post.
Okay.
For context, when we met, I was in a toxic relationship with my now ex. She was focusing on school, working, and getting in shape, so I never really saw her romantically due to these factors, but I've always thought she was a beautiful person and a joy to be around. I'll call her Kelsey. I've told her things I wouldn't dream of telling my ex, talked about for hours, played board games, watched movies, went to restaurants, invited her to my book club, and just included her in almost every aspect of my life, as she did the same with me. But we were rarely alone together. Nothing intimate besides hugs and jokes with friends, so never really thought of her that way. I finally had enough of the years-long verbal abuse threatening to harm herself and mind games with my ex when I started to realize I was spending more time with Kelsey and would sometimes forget about my own girlfriend as Kelsey made me happy and ex filled me with dread. It was roughly 7 months ago when I broke up with her. Kelsey 2 years ago was a bit chubby and she was working out really hard to get it off, so I was super supportive of her and gave her some fitness nutrition tips. She has gone from 190 limits to 130 limits, but her heaviest was apparently 260 limits. You cannot even tell that she was once that size. I am so proud of her, and ever since the breakup, she's all I can think about, and we've been spending some time alone now. Her lips, the way she talks, her smile, her eyes, and yes, her body is incredible. The fact she put in the work to lose the weight and is disciplined to keep it off while working and going to school makes her even more beautiful to me. She's always been there without me even asking, and she would just know I needed her support in some way, and I would always find a way to let her know I truly appreciated her. I had a feeling she felt the same way about me, but I let a bunch of insecurities, I'm freakishly tall, been called boring, told I talk too much, hate my chin, etc. stop me from telling her how I felt. A few weeks ago, we were all at a taco joint with friends stuffing our faces and having a great time until a guy approached her and offered to buy her a drink. My heart sank and I immediately wanted to tell him off. She's not interested, but was able to fight it off as I knew it was irrational and I had no right. That's a good thing.
Aww.
That's a good thing.
Like, that's a good thing, but still.
Yeah, like, I like the fact that, already that's a good sign for me because of the fact that, because I understand that feeling, but, saying, no, that's irrational, that's not right, I have no right to say that about her, it's that's a good thing. And
yeah, I love the fact he respects her boundaries, but is also so with her.
Yeah. She sweetly agreed with some encouragement from the girls at the table and followed him to the bar, and they started chatting. I have never been so angry, sad, and guilty at the same time about a woman. The time I've known her, she's been single except for a few dates that ended up wanting to be just casual, which really hurt her as she doesn't hook up and hasn't been intimate with anyone for a few years since she was focusing on herself. Guys and girls hit on her all the time, and it's always made me irrationally upset even before I realized I loved her because they didn't know her. So I should have been happy that she was talking to this guy and seemingly enjoying herself. She was giggling, smiling, sharing nachos with him. I was unbelievably bummed, so I started to head out as I didn't want to watch her flirt with this guy and cause a scene. When I got home, I saw she sent me a goodnight text saying, I hope I feel better. Friends told her I wasn't feeling too hot. She was worried that as I'd kind of been off, and let her know I needed someone to talk to. I fell in love again. I decided I was going to tell her how I felt, as it wasn't fair to her, and it was unhealthy keeping it in since I can barely form sentences around her. I asked one of the girls if she had an idea that Kelsey might have a crush on me after explaining why I wanted to know. She confessed that she did indeed, Yes, but apparently Kelsey told her that she didn't think I'd ever date her because she used to be fat. She's not in my league, and I probably only saw her as another sister. I was devastated. I gave that impression. No, she didn't say that. Kelsey told her that. She told her that.
Okay, so she told. Okay, sorry.
No, the friend didn't say that. If the friend said that, I'd be like, bitch.
I got pissed off there. Sorry.
No, Kelsey apparently said that. It's okay.
Okay.
I was devastated. I gave her that impression and almost didn't believe it, but it all made sense as to why she would think that. I've never made any move on her, and I myself am a pretty fit guy, plus my ex was super skinny. I'm so afraid to make a move now that she's lost so much weight that she's going to think I only like her now because she's not fat anymore. And my feelings are surface level. She means so much to me, and I don't want to fuck this up. Most of my friends are saying that she's going to understand and not take it personally because she knows me. Some said that she's going to think that I just want to bleh her now that she's hot. My sisters think that I should tread lightly as she could feel like a rebound. How do I approach this without coming off as shallow and potentially losing her or her respect? Thank you. Sorry this is crazy long, guys. I am stressed. TLDR, I'm in love with my best friend that used to be chubby, but I don't want her to think that's the only reason I like her now that she isn't chubby.
That's so sweet.
Yeah, like, the thing is that, like, I do think, like, the feeling of him, like, feeling like, that he didn't want to call, like, there's a part of me that's kind of like, I don't like the fact that he's like, I gotta get out of here because, like, you know, causing a scene or whatever, but the fact that he
But
had
that's self-control.
Yeah, he had that self-control at the same time, though, of thinking, like, I need to leave, I don't want to cause anything, and stuff like that, so...
Or even just being worried that you might, even if you're not capable of it.
Yeah.
That shows a certain amount of respect and self-control that, quite frankly, is admirable.
Yeah, and it's like... It makes me sad, though, the fact that she's, like, apparently had told the friend, like, yeah, I don't think he would like me because I used to be fat. And I'm just like, fuck. That sucks.
And that's sadly a common thing people go through when they happen to have a bit more weight than others.
Yeah.
And it's not right. And she probably went through a long period of her life with bullying her.
Yeah. So there are some relevant comments here. Someone posted, I honestly think the best way to go about it is to legit just tell her that it's not because she lost weight. I used to be fat myself, and if someone who knew me before would be hitting on me now, I'd immediately be thinking that their attraction is only shallow level and that it would be off-putting to me. And obviously, if I had asked them, they deny it, so you bringing it up on your own sounds perfect. Then someone else wrote, I'm sensitive to it too, but what sounds like the real truth that you didn't really consider her until you were fully detangled from the person before is something I'd also be very receptive to. You can tell her that you find the self-improvement attractive without making it about the weight. Luckily, she sounds like a good enough friend that you could be straightforward. Short version is, tell her exactly what you told us, why you find her attractive without getting into the physical stuff you like. There will be time for that later. OP then responded, thanks so much, you're right, I was so miserable with my ex and it took a huge toll on my mental state that nothing else was really on my mind except making it through the day. Ex has bipolar disorder. Oof.
Oh.
Ouch. I know that's something that's very hard to both deal with as a person, or I know that's something that's very hard to deal with for those who have it and also those around the people who have it.
Yeah, I also am kind of in the same boat of knowing what it's like to be around people that have it, but I'm more used to people who are not working on it.
Yeah.
Like, not working on being able to control it.
Same. Someone then also wrote, say that you liked her, but you were shy. I have a question. You said that she was chubby, and I'm guessing you weren't attracted to her. If you wanted to date her and she gets comfortable around you, she might gain weight. A lot of women gain weight in relationships because they are comfortable around the guy. Guys gain weight for the same reason. So my question is, if you start dating and she happens to get chubby again, are you just going to break up with her or post and ask us if you should break up? If so, it sounds like you are more in love with her looks and not her as a person. Also, you probably shouldn't date her if you're just going to break up if she gets chubby again. She doesn't deserve to be treated like that. He then responded, thank you for the input. I noticed I did a poor job showing this in my initial post, but I've always found her attractive. She was focusing on herself and not really wanting to date, so I assumed that meant me as well. And I was constantly trying to leave my ex without her harming herself. Her weight has never mattered to me. I was just happy to support her the way that she supported me, plus she has some health concerns that she has forced her to be more disciplined with maintaining her weight, so even if she was to gain it back, I'd still love her and would never hurt her like that. But I'd still be encouraging her to keep up for health's sake, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and my apologies, but that I did not get a hint of him just liking her for her body when you read that.
Yeah, like, a part of me got a little bit of that, which is why I was a little wary, but the fact that, but now knowing this, like, makes me go, like, okay, you gotta go for it. But, like,
because more or less the way he was, the way he was referring to wanting to spend more and more time with her, and then saying, like, she lost more and more of her weight. further into his relationship with the ex.
Yeah.
But either way, to me, from my viewpoint of it, I don't know if it's because I'm a woman or not, but from my viewpoint of it, it does sound like he is absolutely in love with this woman.
Yeah.
But I also see the commenter's point of view where it's like, hey, I've been through this before. I just want to make sure it doesn't happen to this poor girl.
And I'm glad that it seems like OP's like, no, I always liked her, which is a good thing. And what was I going to say? What's funny is that, like, I feel like I've been in a situation like this before, not like relationship wise, but like been in like in a relationship, like in like been like in a, like a situation where I wanted to tell somebody something, but I'm like, but like at the same time I'm like, I hope they don't think that I'm only saying this because of this, you know?
Mm-hmm.
Like I can relate to that on some level, where he's like, he wants to tell her that he likes her, but he doesn't want her to think I only like you now because you've lost the weight. I understand, like I get that, you know?
Yeah.
So
to get from everyone else's point of view, it's gonna be a big sell case when you try to talk to her. You're going to be walking on a bunch of those.
Yeah.
And it's not because she's not going to like you. It's probably because she's going to be weary, and that's perfectly fine with her situation.
Yes. So of course there's an update 1 week later, August 15th of 2024, which means that this was 8 days ago. So yeah, let's get to it.
I'm just going to let you know ahead of time, I have a baseball bat. If this turns out to be like the last story, man, you're going to have to get some new equipment.
Okay. Guys, holy hell, I didn't expect this to blow up the way that it did whatsoever. It's on TikTok, and I'm currently even more mortified, but it's so worth it. I'll be answering some comments to clear some things up. TLDR at the bottom. After coming back to these comments and messages over and over, I realized I was severely overthinking everything, making things way harder than it needed to be, and came to the conclusion that I didn't need to bring up such a sensitive topic in the first place, just to tell her how I feel, especially since she didn't confess that to me directly. I just needed to tell her, and a quick rest would follow. Bada bing, bada boom. He didn't add the bada bing, bada boom, but I added that.
Story.
All right. I texted her the next morning asking if we could grab a bite, just the two of us, sometime that coming weekend. Had something important to tell her and that I missed her, which was true. I stupidly ended up worrying her with the way I was wording it. She thought I was moving. Oof. Well, you're not, so it's okay.
Hey, well, at least it shows that she cares.
Yeah. However, she was excited and told me that she missed me too. She was free that night if I was down and the day after next. I very much started to panic as it was sooner than anticipated, but that night really was the best time. I was still too embarrassed to show her the previous post in its entirety, but I was willing to do so if she doubted my intentions. To keep this brief, I'll spare the mushy details, but we met at her favorite tea shop, caught up for a while, then she actually outright asked me what I needed to tell her. It took me a bit to articulate everything since I was actively trying not to stutter like a dweeb, but I told her most of what I originally posted. I've had feelings for her even before the breakup and just didn't know how to tell for so many reasons. I told her the important ones, but that she was always on my mind. I've always loved how kind, caring, thoughtful, dedicated, and just all around amazing on top of being so beautiful. She made me realize sacrificing my happiness to keep someone that hates me alive was unhealthy, that I deserved to be happy, and I was happiest with her. No one brightened my day like she did. She looked preciously stunned for a moment after I was done and was tearing up a bit at this point, but proceeded to tell me she felt the same way since we met and had a tiny feeling I liked her. However, she didn't think I'd be interested in dating her since we were such close friends, plus the toll my ex put on me meant I probably needed some time to recover. But she was just so happy I actually had the guts to tell her how I felt, and that she was never going to tell me, so we both kind of awkwardly laughed for a bit.
Aww.
We talked for a little while more, and I was so overjoyed, relieved, and super nervous as the mood immediately shifted to something newly intimate, but I did end up asking to take her out on a real date whenever she was ready, as I did just lay out a lot on her. Long story short, as a lot has happened since then. She's now currently my girlfriend. We're taking things super slow. Our second date is in a few days, and I'm kicking myself for not telling her sooner. She hasn't mentioned her weight at all, and I will 100% be showing her the post if she ever does, so now I'm really glad I didn't start off with that. I'm so thankful for each and every one of you for their feedback, encouragement, support, and couldn't have done it without you guys. Serious rock stars over here. TLDR, I didn't bring up her weight, and when I told her my feelings, she's now my girlfriend. She has not brought up the topic, and if she ever does, I'll show her the previous post. That's sweet.
There's not an update to this that ends poorly, right?
No, there's no update at all.
Right.
Everything's okay.
Good.
It's gonna be okay.
Okay, I'm putting the baseball bat away. You're good.
I'm really happy with how this turned out.
Yeah, nice ooey gooey little. Yeah, it's nice.
Yeah, like honestly, yeah, it was this was the best way to put it out, in all honesty. And like, yeah, like I'm glad that like he has this post to show her if she ever does feel any doubt on it, honestly.
Yeah.
But yeah, it was clear that he liked her even when he was with his ex, and even like just he liked her pretty much like for the longest time, but
Yeah, it was clear that he, even when he didn't know it, he was smitten with her.
Yeah. And so, yeah, that was a nice story. I'm really happy with this. And honestly, like this guy, I honestly really like this guy too. The way just like
This guy's nice.
this guy is like he's a very considerate person, honestly. And the fact that like it very much, I'm very happy that he like I'm very happy he actually had the guts and actually told her. So that's really cool. And like, yeah, I don't even really know what to say because this is just happy. I'm just like, yeah,
It's just
nice.
it's a little good thing that gives me a little bit more hope in the world.
Yeah. And of course, a lot of the comments, just like the last type of story we read like this, that's enough Reddit for today. And I think that's enough for us too as well.
Oh, absolutely. I still have a certain AI book author I need to find.
Yeah, me too.
Hey, I have a spare baseball bat if you want to like meet me outside. While
no, I got something else. Don't worry.
Okay.
But yeah,
go now.
I guess that's pretty much it for this video. I'm glad we ended on this note. First story made me angry, but second story I'm actually very pleasantly happy about. If OP is watching this, I hope everything is all well in your world. And I'm really glad that you actually had the guts to do it. So good job, my friend. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. Anything else you want to say, Lynn?
No, not really. I'm okay with this, man. I'm good with this.
Nice. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching. I hope you all enjoyed it. And maybe we'll see you guys again sometime soon. And remember, stay safe and sane. Bye.